All right, boys, fun topic today, testosterone and mental toughness. So, on your masculine development journey, these two components are absolutely important, right? And note how I didn't say self-improvement journey because I believe that's gay, okay? But I'll leave that for another episode, for another video rather. But masculine maxing is the way, and I want to put you on masculine maxing, so forget self-improvement. All right, but anyways, testosterone and mental toughness, this is important on your journey. Okay, so why do you want to increase your testosterone? Okay, you're a man, you need drive, you need purpose, you need heavy full balls. Okay, you've got shit to conquer. Okay, you've got your missions, you've got your goals, you've got women to fuck. Okay, you're a man, there's nothing more to say. All right, you need high testosterone, because if you don't have high testosterone, you turn into a femboy, and then I don't know, you'll end up chopping your balls off or some shit. I don't know, but you can either take the path of rebuilding masculinity in this modern world, or you can take the path of joining everyone else, okay, following the crowd and just becoming a lesbian. All right, that's up to you, okay? Either is perfectly fine with me. Okay, but let's say you're trying to rebuild, to reclaim your masculinity, all right? Why do you need mental toughness? Mental toughness, I believe, is important because people are too emotional and people are too soft, okay? Without a foundation, without a certain level of mental toughness, how are you able to tackle the difficult things in your life, okay? If, you know, the second your stomach gets hungry, you start crying like a primitive monkey for food, you've got a problem, okay? If you're supposed to study for something, if you have a business you have to work towards, and mid-task, you start complaining and you start crying that it's too difficult and it's too hard, well, you're fucked, okay? You're not going to achieve your goals. You've got to have a level of high testosterone and mental toughness to you, okay? So the first point that I wanted to start with is competition. As a man, you need competition in your life, okay? And, you know, we're in an age where everything is soft, everything is just, you know, you don't need to try, there's no competition. So the best thing that you can do right now is sign up to a combat sport, okay? I don't care if it's MMA, if it's kickboxing, if it's boxing, Muay Thai. You sign up for some matches, you sign up for some interclubs, gain some experience, gain some confidence, okay? Just build some self-belief in yourself in this area, in combat, okay? Just combat has been around for thousands and thousands of years, okay? It's a vital pillar that you should master, or at least be trying to improve daily as a man, all right? Competition, sign up to the sports, write it down, go and fucking do it, okay? Women, with women, if you have the ability to gain women, if you have the, you know, the capability to cold approach, you know, there's a funnel. It's like in business, there's a funnel. You cold approach, you nurture the prospect, and then you close the prospect. In our words, you fuck, okay? If you have the ability to get this woman, to, you know, keep her entertained, you know, be interesting, be charismatic, you're doing something good as a man, all right? You know you're doing something well, because that's real world feedback, okay? If you have a business product or you're a startup, you want to validate your product as soon as possible, as fast as possible, to know that there's demand, okay? When you go out in the dating marketplace and you manage to get these women, you manage to keep them, to maintain them, and then you manage to close them, you know you're doing something well as a man. Plus, this reinforces another element of self-belief, and it genuinely, you feel more confident, you feel more competent, okay? Your testosterone increases, all right? Cool, so get women. But just to get a little bit more specific on getting these women, you need to develop this charisma, this charm to yourself. You need to lose the fear of cold approaching, because nowadays it's easy to go on dating sites, on Instagram, just follow. Of course, it's a good strategy, yeah? Follow women, text them, whatever. But the real skill as a man is to be able to cold approach. It's and every rep, every failure, every rep, it gives you a chance to experiment your abilities in the real world and reiterate. Okay, you reiterate, you try again with the next, try again, and then you slowly, just become good. You become good at the sport. Okay, a good sport I like to call fishing. All right. The third point that I want to mention is cut out sugar, okay? Completely eliminate sugar. I'm not going to get into the scientific side of things because one, I don't know it, and two, thinking is gay, okay? People think too much. But again, that's a story for another video, but bottom line, sugar kills your testosterone, so stop eating it. And by resisting sugar, by not indulging in sugar, you're also reinforcing your mental toughness. I'll touch onto this point a bit later on, but why this is because your primitive monkey brain screams for sugar. Yeah. You conquer your mind. You have control over your mind, not the other way around. And when you just slap that bitch voice out of your head, voila, you built a small element of mental toughness. Okay, another thing is processed food. Okay, again, I'm not gonna get into the scientific bullshit because one, I don't care, one, I don't know, two, I don't know, same thing. Stop thinking too much. Just bottom line, no processed foods. All right, clean whole foods. Okay, just think, I don't know, just think what the Romans ate, what the Spartans ate, right? Just meat, eggs. They probably just took the whole egg, ate it raw with the shell. I don't know, man, just simple, basic, nutritious, protein, power foods, okay? So stop the sugar and stop the processed foods. All right, so this next point I found interesting because I found it out pretty recently, but people are getting demoralized too much, okay? Men are losing their spirit, not only because they're seeing other men on social media already have obtained the goals that they're aiming for, all right? But people are losing self-belief in themselves, all right? Their self-belief is damaged, their confidence is damaged. People are getting mugged too much, all right? And the thing with being, you don't want to be mugged, you want to be the mugger. You know what I mean? You want to just be good enough at life and build. That's my fucking light gone. Come back, you cunt. I don't like that. Just be good enough at life to become the mugger, okay? There's no other way about it. So go out, get your money, get your woman, get the body you want, train your combat sports. What else do you need? All right? You want to build that self-belief in yourself. The last point, and probably the most important point for testosterone, is actually build a fire. What gives a man more pleasure than him building a fire, a little campfire, sitting down on a little chair, smoking a cigar or a cigarette or whatever you want. Have your journal in hand or not, and just sit by the fire late at night. Hear the crickets chirp. What more does a man need to make him feel pleasure? Seriously. We're simple. I don't know about you, but just the thought, just me talking about that, it got me excited. It got me slightly aroused. Okay. So I'm probably going to go make a fire after this video. But make a fire, man. Build a little campfire. I don't give a fuck about no scientific bullshit, testosterone. Build a fire. Cool. All right, moving on to mental toughness. The first point that I want to say is your word must be iron. Okay, your honor, your value as a man is your word. Okay, you cannot break it, not for anyone. But aside from not breaking it from anyone, you can't break it from yourself. Everything you set out to do in a given day, you must complete. Okay. If I said to myself, okay, today I'm gonna record this video, I'm gonna read half an hour of a chapter, and I'm gonna work on my online business. Those are 3 tasks. Don't make the mistake I done and look. So I used to set myself 10, a minimum of 10 tasks. I was overcrowding my schedule so much because I wanted very high output in a very short amount of time. That leads to chaos. It leads to just psychological chaos. You don't want that. And it leads to declined self-belief because you didn't complete those tasks that you set. Therefore, you failed. Okay? At least that was my thought process. But just set a few tasks in a day and do them no matter what. Start with 3, go to 4, go to 5. Test your threshold, basically. All right? I want to tell you about emotional control. All right? The moment you feel like you're about to have a emotional outburst or a fit of anger, or whatever it is, frustration, whatever it is, if you feel like you're getting emotional, teach your brain to constantly reinforce an emotional control. All right. Again, this needs you need a lot of practice. You need a lot of time with yourself and your brain. You need to train your brain to be able to make this snap. It is possible. Okay, it's just the power of your belief and just a little bit of work on your psyche. For example, like I said earlier, when you get hungry and your belly's rumbling and you feel that primitive monkey urge, that desire to just start getting angry and frustrated and I want food. Just instantly stop it. Just cap it. Slap the shit out of it. Okay? Reinforce an emotional control. You're a man. Okay? You're a man. I went 7 days without food. Okay? It's just some hunger. There are people truly, genuinely starving. Okay? You, in an hour or 2, you will have a nice home-cooked hot meal ready at your disposal. Fucking inconsiderate asshole. Okay? Cool. This next point ties in with the previous point, and it's not allowing the little bitch voice in your head to win. Okay? And some examples of this bitch voice arising is, let's start with the first thing you do in a day. What do you do when you wake up? No. What do you do first thing in the day? You wake up. Okay? And this is where the voice comes into play. By telling you to snooze the alarm, stay in your warm sheets. It's nice and cozy in here. Just a little bit longer. What's the worst that can happen? Okay? But snoozing is gay, okay? You're a man, you're on your purpose, you wake up energized, ready to tackle the day. Okay, maybe sometimes you're not energized, maybe most days you're not energized, I know, believe me. But you get up and you push through. Sleeping is for babies, okay? Literal babies need sleep to grow. You know what I mean? But don't allow that bitch voice to win. You have to overcome it. Okay, you have to power through. You either power through or you create this new identity to yourself. And with this identity shift, you manage to subconsciously guide yourself towards the right actions. And again, this will be another video on creating this identity, on using visualization, on being able to rewire your brain in a way where you can make this self-image of yourself. You can make a new identity for yourself according to the goals you set yourself, and you literally subconsciously guide towards those actions. It's powerful, but that's for another video. And the last point for mental toughness, which ties into your word being iron-willed, is doing the things you don't want to do, okay? You don't want to work, you work anyways. Because your word is iron, you're going to do it. You don't want to study, such as, you reading your book, enhancing, expanding your mind, you do it anyway. You don't want to train, you don't want to go gym, you do it anyway, all right? Simple. There's nothing to expand upon those points. You don't want to do it, you do it. Otherwise, each day that goes past, you're just delaying. You're delaying your success. You're delaying the man that you want to become. Just picture your future self, right? 5 years time, 2 years time, just looking back at you, just saying, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Hurry up. Stop wasting time. Come on, man. Come on. You know what I mean? You're just delaying it. Time is going to pass regardless of how you feel. Every second is ticking. The clock is ticking. Regardless, it's up to you during those seconds being ticked to take action. But yeah, boys, I hope you extracted some valuable points, and I'll see you in the next videos.